Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob. And we got a ton of things to go over before we get into our picks today.
Oh, yes. It is the pick episode, that weekly thing where we let you know who we think is going to win, and I whoop Rob's butt.
Oh, listen, come on. Can't start bragging now. This is what you did last year. And guess what?
I've won 5 out of the first 6 weeks. I'm bragging, goddammit.
You can brag all you want. But when you lose the
I
next
know I
10
can.
weeks.
That's why I'm doing it.
But when you lose the next 10 weeks, you're going to eat those words.
We'll see. Are they tasty? A little ketchup?
Ooh. Cocktail sauce can make it zesty.
Catsup. But yeah, we got all kinds of news to go over. We got another Giant one step closer to the Hall of Fame. We got Giants looking at picking up someone new. And no, I don't mean Matthew Stafford. We were talking about yesterday. We have someone may have cleared a certain protocol. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, maybe.
And, of course, we got to do the injury report for the upcoming game against the Eagles here. And then we get into our picks. So let's break right into it here with the first bit of good news here, which is Tom Coughlin is closer to the Hall of Fame. He is officially on his next stop amongst the panel that are looking at coaches. It used to be coaches / contributors, if you remember. Now it's coaches and then contributors, 2 separate categories now. So originally they had 14 head coaches. They're down to 12, which seems weird. Like, you're going to, maybe you guys are having too many steps in this. Call me crazy.
Maybe.
We made it. We cut 2. Now we can just figure out 11 more to cut. We'll be good to go. What are you doing? It just seems like an unnecessary step in this whole thing. It really does. So, but yeah, they have gone ahead and done the next round. So Tom Coughlin officially on the next one and should be, guys, point blank, should be in the Hall of Fame. The man
100%.
took the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars to the AFC Championship in their 2nd year of existence, and then goes to the Giants and wins 2 rings. Those 3 statistics alone should get you in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. That really should.
Yeah.
There's only one other coach who's got 2 Super Bowl rings and not in the Hall of Fame. That's it. That's a little the groups like this, because can you imagine if he was a quarterback? Can you imagine a quarterback with 2 rings not getting the Hall of Fame? Doesn't happen very often. It's the same with coaches, guys. Can happen, don't get me wrong. Like if Trent Dilfer won a second one, he wasn't going in. Let's be honest. But this was no Trent Dilfer coach kind of situation here. Tom Coughlin was a huge part of those wins. Tom Coughlin was a huge part about making a success in Jacksonville, which history has proven is even more impressive now than it was back then, considering what's happened. Let's be honest. The Jaguars have been like the expansion version of the Browns, basically. Like they are the newer version that just hasn't won a damn thing. They got into a couple of playoff runs in their, what that was, almost 30 years? Was it 29 years now that they've been a team? I want to say 95 was the first year.
Yeah, I'm going to say 95. It's
been almost 30 years, and they basically had 2 runs in the playoffs. Not that we have any room to talk as Giants fans right now, but still, it's impressive what he did there. And then, like I said, to go to the Giants and kick at the next level at that point, that's even more impressive. And, we got 2 different Giants coaches also in that top 12. So literally a quarter of the coaches are the Giants coaches. Dan Reeves is also on there. Now, let's be honest, Dan Reeves, probably his worst stop in his coaching career was the Giants. He got to the Super Bowl with the Falcons, got to a couple of Super Bowls with the Broncos, did not get close to a Super Bowl with the Giants.
No.
But he still wasn't a bad coach. It was just, you try winning with Dave Brown. Dave Brown was Daniel Jones of the 90s.
Maybe a little worse.
Yeah. And then Bill Arsberger is also on the list as well, who is a coach for 2 years in the 70s. Let's be honest, the Giants were a laughing stock in the 70s. So again, two guys that's why I'm not including them as much more of a kudos, because these two guys more of an asterisk. They were on the Giants head coaches. But Tom Coughlin should be in the damn Hall of Fame. That's an
100%.
absolute travesty. So hopefully he makes it for a few more rounds. At this pace, they'll decide the next person to go in the Hall of Fame in the year 2030 at this point, because you're going to start dropping them two at a time. It's going to take forever, guys. Just seems like a newsworthy thing, even though we're talking about it. Damn it, Hall of Fame. I'm talking about you.
Come on, bro.
Go for it. Damn it. So let's talk about a new addition, perhaps coming to the Giants. Oh, yes. Shiny new is the Giants are rumored to be potentially looking for a veteran tackle. Obviously, we talked about the fact that Andrew Thomas is gone for the year. That's that Liz Frank injury. He just had surgery on Monday, and yesterday. And then now Pat Leonard, when he's doing, having this little, talk there with Brian Dable, says, you bring in somebody in, basically asking the question flat out. And Brian Dable said again they might be looking basically to bring a veteran tackle in. Now, read between the lines. Maybe looking means I got to deal with what I got here.
Pretty much.
You know what he's got? Poop. Let's be honest.
He's got poop and poop.
Poop. Evan Neal, diarrhea. That's what
Cha-cha-cha.
it's been. That's what it's been. It's not even a cha-cha-cha. That's the sad part. There's no fun to it at all. But, he's going to give those guys a shot, as he probably should, to be honest. Because if you didn't think those guys were the best available players to back up Andrew Thomas, then you messed up to begin with.
100%.
That's an issue. If you went ahead and said, okay, these are my swing tackles, these are my backup tackles, I feel comfortable going into the season with these guys as the backups. And then one of your starters gets hurt, and the second he gets hurt, you're going to get a new one?
Yeah.
That's not a good sign, guys. So they're going to give them a shot. But we all know what they are. A third-round bust and a top 10 bust. What they are, guys. I don't want to say it. I want them to be successes because they're Giants, but they're not. So we took a look at options. Who could the Giants be looking at? And there is some intriguing options to be stopgap 1 year kind of players at that point, which, to be honest, what we're looking for. We got Donovan Smith, 31 years old, 9-year veteran, longtime Bucs. You guys probably know him from the Tom Brady Buck days at that point, because he was the left tackle for Brady. Last year, also Super Bowl champion again, because he played for the Chiefs with a 55.4 blocking grade last year. He's still available. Let's be honest, 55.4 blocking grade, not the greatest. But he's not a bad pass blocker. He just really was struggling in the run blocking. So, potential issue. I mean, here's the problem. Let me say this right off the bat. It's like, if we're looking at tackles, we got to realize we're at the end of the limbo game. Like, the bar has been set very low with Josh Azudu and Evan Neal. So when I talk about these guys, I'm not suggesting these are, can't believe these guys are still available. Like, we know why they're available.
Yeah.
But they're veteran people with starting experience. And sometimes that's what you need for the year. Next up, you got David Bakhtiari, who was the longtime Packer, 33 years old, 5-time All-Pro. Also matches the total of surgeries he's had on his left knee. So, yeah, if he's healthy, if he's healthy, I'd give him a shot. If he wants to come here, he's healthy. Why not?
Yeah.
Even if he's got a few games before surgery number 6. I mean, just saying, can't hurt you. Can't hurt you. Because let's be honest and say that Bakhtiari is not getting a large contract. He's still sitting there twiddling his thumbs in October. It's a vet minimum, exactly. And if you can get a guy like that for a vet minimum, even if he plays just 1 year, and worst case scenario, he gets hurt further on down the road, and you get a chance to kind of coach up Azudu and Neal a little bit more this season with the new offensive line coach, Priscilla, that we have a lot of respect for. Best case scenario, for everybody. He does really well. He re-ups his value at that point, gets to play a couple more years somewhere with a nice new contract he gets because of what he does for the Giants. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
We don't need a long-term tackle. We just need him for, the next 12 games or 11 games.
Yeah.
So, last option, DJ Humphries, longtime tackle for the Arizona Cardinals, 30 years old. But the guy also tore his ACL the last week of the season. So, chances are, I keep seeing his name being brought up. I don't think he'd be ready yet. Like, am I crazy for saying he's probably not going to be ready yet, guys?
Yeah, especially at that age. Like, not that he's old, but we've said it constantly. It takes about a year to come back to start playing at a professional level, and you're normally not playing what you were beforehand. And you're talking last week of the season, so it's not been a full year yet. And he's also 30. He's not, one of these guys in their mid-20s, and they don't recover as fast from the ACL. Like, that 5-year difference makes a big difference in a recovery from the ACL, especially in a professional environment.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's probably early. Like I said, I only just bring it up again because people keep talking about it right now, I'm going to give you guys 2 blasts in the past year, too. First one, a guy we cut in training camp who is still somehow on the streets, guys. It's Matt Nelson, former swing tackle for the Lions. He's a guy that, again, we were it was a last-minute cut for us at that point there. I think he's an interesting candidate because he was already in camp. He knows the offense. He knows the people there. He knows a lot of stuff. He's not coming in brand fresh and new at that point. And then the last one is a guy that also is a free agent right now. And that's Tyree Phillips. He's been on the Giants before. He is a free agent. And again, he's a guy that's worked with some of the people on here. Now, he doesn't have the connections to Brasillo and the current blocking scheme and stuff like that. So, you could make the case that he's not as, familiar necessarily, even though we're just on the team last year. But guys, he started 9 games for us last year. And he started at the right tackle spot. So you pop him at right tackle. You pop Jermaine Illuminor at left tackle. You could do worse. You could do a whole lot better, don't get me wrong. But you could do worse. You could do worse. Like I said, I think it's interesting. I don't think this one's a candidate, but I'm going to mention it real quick because he's already said he came out of retirement to do this. And I guess he's on the couch right now. And that's Justin Pugh, who said point blank he came out of retirement to go play left tackle for the Giants.
Pew, pew, pew.
I hate to break it to Pugh because I got a lot of respect for the guy. The guy's fun. Like, if you listen to him on like content and stuff, because he's a content creator now too, doing that part-time while he's debating his future, I guess. And he's a fun guy. But dude, you're retired because nobody wanted you, not because you wanted to stop playing. Like, not to be rude about it. I'm just trying to point it out. Like, that's like absolutely, like, there's a certain level of insanity at that point. That's like,
we plucked him off the couch last year.
Yeah. That's
and
like,
now he's back on the couch again.
No, but I'm saying this is like, that's like nobody wanted him. That's why he's retired. So it's like the equivalent of like if Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom broke up and all of a sudden somebody sent her a text message like, hey, just drop my hat in the ring just in case. Like it's not going to happen, dude. Give it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's probably done. Again, he was sitting on the couch last year. We talked about that. Like, nobody really wanted him last year. It was an injury. I mean, I can't blame the guy for wanting to play. Don't get me wrong. He seems to like it. Obviously, he makes a good living at it. So it's not like he's hurting it, in that respect there. Like, why not get an extra $1 million real quick before you're done? Like, go for it. Like, I'm not hating on the guy in any way, shape, or form. I just don't think anybody. Yeah, I just don't think anybody thinks he's got anything left at that point. By the way, I should point out that last year he made $1.17 million. Actually, no, I'm sorry, $988,000. So he made about $1 million. So I was right on my $1 million.
Yeah.
So listen, I can't blame him. Listen, I'll go play left tackle for $1 million. You kidding me? You'll bench me within the first drive. Whatever. I'll go for it.
It's worth a shot. Dude, for half that.
So like I said, Can't blame the guy for trying, but I don't think him is legitimate. Honestly, I think the guy that I would personally bring in are the last two that I mentioned, either Matt Nelson or Tyree Phillips. And what I'd probably would do, honestly, is I'd probably invite them all in for a workout and see what I think. And probably a couple other people that I'm not even thinking about that maybe, Dable or, Brasillo have connections to at that point that might be on the streets hanging out right now. It's bound to be someone. Maybe there's somebody on a practice squad I'm not thinking of. But like I said, that's the big names out there and a couple blasts in the past there as well. So we'll see what happens there. And like I said, hopefully, let's be honest, the best case scenario for us is Evan Neal is all of a sudden really good. That's not a bad scenario for us, guys. We still have him under contract for, a couple of years here. So if he can all of a sudden be good, and then maybe next year he move him to guard. I know people hate that, but move him to guard and keep Illuminor and Thomas going. Because like Greg Van Roden, 1-year deal. There's your spot right there. So, we'll see what happens, but that'd be the best for the Giants, probably. Let's talk about some more positive news here again. I'm trying to mix up some positive and negative. I'm trying to get some more positivity. Absolutely, positively. We got a guy that we've been missing the last couple weeks, guys. And looks like he's back. Back in the New York groove.
Yeah.
That's
guess who's back? Back again. Neighbors back. Catch up ball. Catch up ball. Catch up ball.
So yeah, officially today, Malik Neighbors has been cleared of the concussion protocol, guys, which is spectacular news for the Giants here, guys, because listen, I know nobody wants to hear this, but we talked about the game yesterday with the Eagles. The Eagles do have some great receivers that haven't been healthy much of the season, and they should be healthy going into this game here. The Eagles have a home run threat at running back. We know him well. We need some firepower, guys. Got to fight fire with fire. We got no fire right now. Guess what? We got some fire today. Fire. But we got it. So, Malik Neighbors, assuming he's fully unhealthy and ready to go for the game, which I would imagine he would be. We'll talk about that in a moment, a little further, and we'll go to the injury report stuff. But this is a big get for us, guys. This is the guy who was literally top 3 to, pretty much every single major statistical category before the concussion. Like, that's impressive, especially as a rookie. So, now that he's missed 2 games, comes back a little rested, comes back maybe also learns a little lesson. And I don't mean that's like a negative, like it's his fault he got concussed, but like as you play a game, you kind of learn how to avoid those hits.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just angling the right way. Sometimes it's just making sure your head's in a spot that it's not vulnerable. And he's a rookie. He's going to be learning that stuff. So,
especially because when you come out of college, the way they tackle in college is different than the NFL. So,
oh, yes. When they wait and tackle in college, it's like Adoree Jackson's tackling.
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a difference. So,
big difference.
Like I said, good news for us. Malik Neighbors is back. He's no longer got the concussion protocol. And I'm kind of curious to see if him being out for the last 2 weeks helps a little bit in the offense, whereas they maybe are less reliant on him because now DJ's had to do without him for the last 2 weeks. Because I like him. I think he's a really talented player. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Neighbors, but you can't be using him like you were using him the last couple of weeks before he got hurt. There's a reason you got hurt. You made it very obvious. It was run the ball or throw it to Neighbors. You made it too easy on the defense. You got to spread the ball out. So now you got a lot of volume over to Wan'Dale Robinson. Now you got a lot more Darius Slayton thrown into the mix at that point there. Make it a trio. Throw the occasional ball to Theo Johnson still. Make it a trio because you know what's going to happen when you spread it out? Neighbors is going to be more open because they have to watch everybody. And that's going to allow for the bigger plays. And Neighbors has that. Like, you can end up getting the same exact yardage out of Neighbors with less throws to him. Because he's going to be that much more available for yak yards. He's going to be that much more available down the field because they have to cover everybody.
Exactly.
It's a big difference, guys. It's a big difference. So, all right, let's get into the injury report.
Ooh.
It is time. We got some new names. We got some old names. We got the best of times, the worst of times. We got all kinds of stuff here. So let's start off with the Eagles here first, because I think theirs is a little more interesting because a lot of players on there, but a lot of players have been injured already. And that's what we talked about last week. I said their record is, I think, a little misleading. And this is partially why all the injuries they've had. We've had a lot of guys, some guys that haven't even had play this year yet. That's how injured they've been. They've had both the receivers injured for a little while. They're fully healthy there. But now Dallas Goedert, the star tight end, is also injured. He's got a hamstring issue. Now their backup, Cal Katera, who's been with them the last couple of years now, he's had 4 catches last week, 67 yards when Goddard was left the game injured. So it's not like they don't have a decent backup behind him. I will say this is that's like a career day for him. But he's really not had, he's not really been the star of it. And again, the receivers haven't been fully healthy, so I'd imagine they're trying to spread the ball around a little for that regard as well. Left tackle Jordan Mailata has got the hamstring issue as well, so he's also out. Now, we're officially calling him out because of the fact that Nick Sirianni cried and said he was out as well. He didn't really cry, guys, but he was crying on the inside probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, he definitely was crying on the inside.
He's a very emotional man.
You can see the inward tears.
Yeah, exactly. And we got some new additions to their injury report today. Ooh, brand new. Jalen Carter, the former Bulldog there, I think 9th overall pick, if I remember correctly, last year, shoulder injury. He is new there to that report, and he's been a starter, and he's played pretty well this year. Cornerback Eli Ricks has got a groin injury. He's also a new addition there to the injury report. He's one of the newer, younger corners they have. Remember, they've drafted like 7 corners in the last 2 years, it seems like. He's one of them.
Yeah.
Darius,
their starters are old.
Yes, they are. Speaking of old starters, Darius Slay, knee injury, was limited in practice on Wednesday, so his status has been downgraded because he didn't practice today on Thursday. Now, here's the scary part. If you actually go into the comment sections on articles about injury report, all the Eagles fans are basically asking Darius Slay to do them a favor and go on the IR. And not because he's not healthy enough to play in a couple weeks, but because they don't want him to play. That's how bad his contract has gotten.
Yeah.
We called that a couple years ago.
It's just, you fans are amazing.
It's just, listen, it is what it is. We got limited guys in practice as well. So they, like I said, they have a few that are definitely, some people they may miss a little bit there. So you got limited in practice Oren Burks, the linebacker, who's like their version of Carter Coughlin, really good special teamer, hasn't seen a single snap yet on defense. Byron Young has got a hamstring issue. He's yet to take a snap this season. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, ankle injury. Now, he's technically a starter, but he only plays on 46% of the defensive snaps. But it's still a guy who's getting some decent snaps going on the defense there. Full participants in practice. Safety Sidney Brown, you may remember, tore his ACL in that late season game with the Eagles. So he still hasn't played since that game. He's in his middle of his 21-day practice window that started just last week. So either he's going to have to start playing in the next week or two, or they're going to have to put him on the IR for good. Yeah. Offensive lineman Jalen Hunt, ankle injury. Here you go. Rob, why don't you do the honors in the next one?
No, I don't want to. The tight end, Albert. Is it dominant?
Okay,
Boogeyman.
That's at least, yeah.
Okay,
I really had to look how to pronounce this on Google because I looked up him on highlights to see if somebody would pronounce his name, and I actually heard a couple of different pronunciations, so I wasn't even sure which way the correct one is. So Albert Alkuwe-Bunam. That's according to Google how you pronounce it. So just tells you how much he's played that we have to Google how to pronounce his name. But yeah, he was hurt in camp. He was hurt in camp. He's in the middle of his 21-day practice window as well. And wide receiver Anais Smith, ankle injury, also a guy who's hurt in camp and in the middle of his 21-day practice window as well. So on the IR, Britton Covey, who's been their punt returner. He's listed as a wide receiver, but he's basically been their punt returner for the last couple of years. And our old buddy, defensive back James Bradbury, who I'm going to call defensive back because he's been a corner, but they're in the process of trying to convert him over to a safety because he's gotten that old and slow while they're still paying him top dollars.
I was about to say tons and tons of money.
Yeah, they're paying tons of money to those two geriatric corners. Like they held on to that duo for way too long. Way too long. Let's get on to the Giants here. Did not practice. Edge rusher Brian Burns with a groin injury. Now, I think that he'll play personally.
He came out. He came out to report it earlier. I was listening on the way home from work that he said that he's expecting to play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I fully expect him to. I think they're just trying to play it a little easy because they know Kayvon's out as well, so they want to make sure he's fully healthy for it. Punter Jamie Gillum with the left hamstring issue, which I thought was weird. They had to specify which hamstring. They usually don't. They usually just the hamstring, but it says left hamstring. If anybody's been curious which one it is, so it's which honestly the interesting part about it is that's the one you plan with. I don't know which one.
I was going to say that's a stem.
Like I don't know which one is a punter. I prefer to get hurt. The one I actually got a swing, or the one that's the planter. I would imagine the planter would be the worst one. I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier.
It depends on the injury because, like, when you punt it, like, and you extend that, like, you're stretching your hamstring there. So, like, I imagine that would hurt. But at the same time, when you put all your body weight in, like, you're planting down, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends on the type of injury to your hamstring.
So I'm saying I'm a bit curious myself there. Dexter Lawrence, hip injury. Now, Dexter Lawrence has already come out himself and said point blank he will be playing.
Yeah.
This is a matchup he knows the importance of, and just because of the rivalry alone, he will not miss it, he said.
He also said it was just something like he just needed a day to feel better. Same thing.
That's fine. Listen, he deserves a rest.
Yeah.
I think he's still sacking Joe Burrow somewhere. This one, no surprise at all. Let me put it this way. All offseason, I kept hearing people say, why aren't we re-signing this guy? Why don't we re-sign him? We should re-sign this guy. This is why, exactly. Besides the poor tackling and the lack of effort late in the season last year. Back on the injury report, cornerback Adoree Jackson, after this long-awaited return after being, done with his first injury of the year just last week. He's got a brand new one. He's like leasing cars and like that.
Yeah.
Like injuries,
my neck, my hamstring, my neck.
And shoulders, knees and toes. But yeah, he's got a neck injury, so he's a non-participant there. Limited in practice. We got Bryce Ford Wheaton with a shoulder injury. Devin Singletary still limited in practice. Now, I said it before, the Eagles will have a very good running game against this because they're a good running team. We're not a good running defense.
Yep.
Calling it like it is, guys. Devin Singletary is the guy we need. We need motor in this because we need him to try to go ahead and give us some of back what we're going to lose because the defense is going to give it up. Again, all respect to the defense. They've been the rock for this team so far. They're not good at stopping the run. And certain teams, including the Bengals, did not capitalize on that. They didn't capitalize on it. The Cowboys couldn't capitalize because they have no running game themselves. But someone's going to take advantage of that weakness. And you know who's going to probably do it is going to be the Eagles. Because they got Saquon. They got Jalen Hurts. They're not afraid to run the rock. And they got a good run blocking offensive line.
And they've definitely taken advantage of that plenty of times.
Exactly. So, Darius Slayton also on the limited practice with the groin injury. And linebacker Ty Summers, the special team guy, hamstring issue as well. Full participants for the Giants. Malik Neighbors, both the concussion protocol, which he's now officially off, as well as a groin injury, which is a brand new injury for him. I'm not sure if you got that at that concert he went to last week when he was still a concussion protocol, but,
Could be.
Yeah.
Too busy moshing.
Listen, another dumb move by a kid, but he's a kid. And the next one, wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, ankle injury as well. So those guys are listed, but when you see full participant on Thursday, you got to expect they're probably going to play. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not worried about those two at all. So listen, we got some injuries, but we're actually healthier this week than we were last week potentially, just by getting Malik Neighbors back.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the Eagles are still losing people in practice this week, losing a starting corner and a defensive tackle just today alone. So, like I said, we can win something here. We're not out of this. I've been telling you guys, I don't think the Giants are going to win. I don't. But I don't think that it's unwinnable. And I have no qualms about the fact that I'm not embarrassed to win because of injuries to the team. A win is a win. I'll take it. There's no asterisks.
Yeah. Listen, come the postseason, right when the playoffs start, no one's going to look back at week 6, week 7, and go, "Who is injured?"
Yeah, there's no tiebreaker like that.
Yeah, you have more injuries, same record.
We'll take it. We'll take it. All right, guys, let's pay the bills real quick, and then we're gonna go right into our picks here.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. So let's get into our picks. As always, before we do that, we have to recap the week before. This is Rob's favorite part.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. It'll be my favorite part in a couple weeks.
As I won the Monday night game, as we talked about in yesterday's episode. So, therefore, I pulled ahead even more. So, we had, all trash talk aside, because I'm just messing with you. We had a freaking crusher week on this show, guys. Absolute crusher week. Like, this is the week that if you are listening and you use our bets, you'd be very happy with yourself. Thank God. And it'd also be a good time maybe to send a super chat through YouTube or a star through Facebook to thank us for the picks. So, of the 14 games, guys, 14 games, because you got 4 teams on the bye week, I had 12 of them right. Rob had 10 of them right. I may have beat him, but 10 is nothing to sniff at. That's better than 2/3. Yeah. That's 71% and change. I think most people will take that kind of betting reaction there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, especially there's a few of those games where we talked about we would not bet. And
yes. Apparently we should have.
Yeah. Well, some of this are the ones we lost.
Yeah, well, the Giants was the big one. You and I both had the Giants to win. So over unders. Again, 12 games. Sorry, 14 games, sorry. I got 10 of them right. He got 8 of them right. So both of us over 50%. I'll take it. Anytime you're over 50% in betting, in spreads, like you expect a higher percentage in the overall winner. But in spreads, anytime you're over 50%, you're doing good. Over unders. I had 9. You had 8. Again, over 50%. I'll take this every single week if we can do that. And then you and I both had 5 of the trifecta picks, meaning we got the winner, the spread pick, and the over-under on the same exact game.
And we talked about being the best bets.
Yeah. And, I mean, again, that's week 6. I got 21 for the year. For the season, you got 15. So it's like that's a high percentage for the week at that point. It's much more we usually get. So, like I said, I'm pretty proud of us here with that week 6 pick here. We'll see if week 7 hopefully is just as fruitful. But yeah, I got
a lot of different games. So
I got 36 points on the week. You got 31. So that gives me another 5 additional points, putting us out for the season. I'm at 169. You're at 157. So I got a 12-point lead now.
Don't worry, this week it's going to be the catch-up week.
Cats up. We already decided it's called Cats up.
Cats up.
Cats up. So we got another 14-game season. That's another 14-game week. Yeah, not a season. Because of course we do have the the bye weeks still going on.
Yeah.
A long day at work, guys. So let's get into let's get into the first game where we travel back to jolly old London, where the
Ooh, chip
Jaguars
chop.
have been waiting. Now, are there any Jaguars in England? Like, that just seems weird. Like, there's no Jaguars in England.
There's no big cats in England.
Then again, there's no Jaguars in Jacksonville. They're called Cougars
Touche.
there, just like Buenos Aires and Red Bank.
I was about to say.
I didn't hear to say it, so I had to say it. Oh my
Although
god!
they did find a cougar apparently in northwest Jersey earlier this week,
Did they?
and not the fun kind in Buenos Aires, but the actual big cat.
Yeah, and not a panther or a jaguar.
I was about to say Panthers are technically just Jaguars, just all black.
Are they?
Yeah, look
Yeah,
it up.
Okay, no, the Florida Panther is a thing. So okay, then there is a jaguar. I thought it was a different type of cat.
Technically, it's the same animal. It's just the way the coat is laid.
Okay, we're gonna look that up because are there jaguars in Jacksonville? I'm looking it up. Yeah, let's see here. Are there jaguars? Okay, I said, are there Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida? It comes up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a professional American football team. Stop it! Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, let's get to the actual game here. The Jaguars are still in London. It's technically a home game for them. They got the Patriots coming into town, which just seems weird. It just seems a little weird. Like, if there is an NFL team in London full time, because they keep talking about doing it. In fact, they were talking this week about doing a Super Bowl even in Europe or somewhere overseas. Can you imagine if the Patriots come into town? The Patriots are going into London. It's like a weird version of like the Revolutionary War all over again. It just doesn't. It's not going to seem right. Like, what do you call them? Like the London Redcoats too? Like, you got the Patriots versus the Redcoats. Like, oh, it'd be spectacular.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got the Jaguars technically at home against the Patriots. Patriots are a 5.5 point underdog. They're not being very well thought of in this game whatsoever. And you got a 42.5 over under. Rob, who you got?
Oh, this is a tough one for me to pick at first because Chip Chop Jolly Good Old London. I talked about last week. Those Jags, man, they're
Bad.
They're terrible, but they were undefeated in London. They were a good team playing in London.
No place like London.
And they got spanked in London. So I'm gonna take the Patriots, who's gonna start Drake May, who came out and played pretty well against a decent team. Now that he's gonna go up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the 32nd ranked secondary in all of the NFL, which Drew, there's 32 teams in the NFL, so they're last place in the secondary.
Yeah.
And you got this young quarterback who's could put up some points. And I think it's going to be a little explosive for them. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to go in the over just because there's going to be no real defense in this game. And I think the Jaguars are going to cover the spread with the 5.5 points.
So we're kind of similar, except me and you are flip-flopping the teams. I got the Jaguars to win this, actually. And I got the Patriots to cover. I don't trust rookie quarterbacks to win early on in their career. I just don't, because it usually doesn't happen.
No.
But then you throw into the fact that this is brand new for this kid. He's got to go over to London, which I know people are like, oh, it's just right across the water. It's not that much different than going to Seattle.
Across the pond.
But it's still, it's a culture, kind of shock there, so to speak. It's a very exciting time. It's hard to focus on the game itself at that point. Like, all that stuff is going on. So I just think that the Jaguars, who are used to playing over there, because they play there a couple of times a year, I think the Jaguars are used to it, and the Jaguars will excel because of it. I actually think, even though it sucks for their fans that they have to, have 2 games over in London every single week, both of them are very upset, I'm sure. But the Jacksonville Jaguars get a chance to get a little bit of an advantage because they're used to doing this. and I think the advantage comes out this week. So I got the Jags to win, Patriots to cover the spread, though. And I'm with you on the over. So we'll see. This could be a deciding factor for us in who wins this week. So that just tells you guys it's going to be the Jaguars to win. I'm a jerk.
Touche. Well, up next, when we come back to America, we're going to go to Atlanta, where they're hosting the Seahawks.
Living in America.
America
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, little Rammstein.
Well, you got the Falcons hosting the Seahawks in this game. The Falcons are giving up 3 points in this game, and the over/under is 51 points. Jim, how do you feel about this game?
I feel absolutely spectacular about this game because this is actually one of my games of the week. I would take this one all day long. Falcons to win. Falcons to go ahead and cover the 3-point spread. And the over. This is a team the Giants put almost 30 points on. And that was just a couple weeks ago. They're still getting over injuries and all. And that means the Falcons, who are, I think, a better offense than the Giants. I don't think that's a stretch to say. You know, there's a Pee-wee football team or two with probably a better offense than the Giants.
Maybe.
You know, I think they're going to do pretty good. And then you throw in the fact that the Seahawks can also put points up on the board as well. That tells me over. So, yeah, I got Falcons, over. And that is definitely one of the picks of the week that I would definitely feel very confident on.
Yeah, so I agree with you a lot in this game. I took the Falcons to win, the Falcons to cover. Like, just hands down, the way that the Seahawks are beat up, just like you said, the way that Kirk Cousins and that offense has been thrown around, they've been shellacking some teams and putting up a lot of shellacking. They also got a pretty darn good defense too. Are they good as Giants? Maybe not, but they are playing at home. I think they have enough to stop the Seahawks a little bit, and I think it's going to be kind of a close game, but it's going to be in the under. And I think that the defense for Atlanta could stop the Eugene Smiths out there.
Who's that? Gino.
Gino.
Such a New York name. It's almost a shame he didn't work out the Jets or the Giants. Right. Next up, we got the Titans at the Bill. Oh yes, remember the Titans. And of course,
the Titans recently.
And of course, this is the new look Bills that just traded this week for Amari Cooper for a magic bean. I think that's what they got
pretty much.
You know what the scary thing is you look at that trade, you go, okay, they got what for Amari Cooper? A 3rd-round pick and a 7th pick, but they're sending back a 6th pick. And you go, okay, that's really bad. But you think about it, a couple years ago, they got him for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
It is a 1,000-yard receiver for a couple of years. It's like, yeah, maybe the return is not that bad after all.
Don't forget about the magic beanstalk.
The magic bean, that's going to make the whole difference there. Yeah. But yeah, the Bills are favored by 9.5 points. That is the biggest spread this week. And then the over-under is 41, which, think about that for a second. The largest spread this entire week, okay? And it is the 4th smallest over-under. They're expecting a bloodbath. Rob, what are you thinking for this bloodbath?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bloodbath, hands down. I agree with Vegas on this one. I'm taking the Bills to win. I'm actually taking the Bills to cover. And all I did last week was talk about 5.5 points. Go with the under with 5.5 points. But this game, you just got to go favor the Bills. Like, yes, the Bills have not looked at, like, they've been wishy-washy. They got a shiny brand new toy against a defense that has not played good. And they're playing against an offense that has been a meme for the past 6 weeks. A new meme every week with their quarterback. Yes. So I think it's going to be a bloodbath. And I took the over because the Bills have also proven that they could put up 40 points by themselves. And they also have a tendency not to let off on the gas. So like, I think this is a game where it could be a 30-6 at halftime.
You and I are not birds of a feather with this one. I think it's going to take a week or so for the Bills to get a little, stuff going there with Cooper and Allen at that point. I think by the end, I'm going to say this, by the end of this adjustment period where they get a little bit used to each other, get used to how they throw together and stuff like that, used to like, knowing, okay, Cooper, when he does this move, he's going to turn this way. Like there's nuances that have to get learned when a quarterback and a wide receiver play together. It's not like the Jets' new wide receiver we'll talk about later. But once they get that down, I think that Amari Cooper is going to be better than Stephon Diggs was for this team.
I think you're right. He's
not going to be the headache that Diggs was. He's actually a couple of years younger. I think 1 or 2 years younger, not crazy amount. 1 or 2 years younger than Diggs is. I think this is a really good pickup for the Bills, who can now get a less selfish player in there that has similar skill level, and they didn't give up much to get him, and they're not paying him anything, by the way, either. They're paying vet minimum to him. The Browns are picking up the rest of the tab just because of the way the extension worked this offseason. But yeah, I think that this is one of those games that you give it a little bit for this team to kind of figure it out. So I got the Bills still to win, but I think the Titans will cover that spread, and I got the under on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think the Titans will be in any point to actually win the game. Like, they'll probably lose by like 7 points or so still. Like, they'll still be down by a touchdown. But yeah, well, I mean, they could lose by 8, get a 2-point conversion. But I'm just saying, like, it's going to be close to it. But that's just such a big spread. I can't ignore that. So especially when it's that low of an over under, I can't ignore that. That's just too much. That's just like, I feel like they're like Vegas is trying to do something with this. They're begging you to take one of these bets, and I don't know which one. So I wouldn't take this bet either way, shape, or form.
Oh, I am memorized by it, and I hook, line, and sinker. Vegas got me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, there's something weird about that. It's a weird combo.
Listen, I think you talk about, and you're right with what you're saying about Allen and Cooper. It's going to take them a while to get on pace of how they're actually going to play out their schematics. But remember, as a kid, when you threw to one of your buddies, all you do is play street ball. Hey, do this, make a left here, and you're good. That's what's going to happen this week, and you're going to see a lot of big plays off of quick snaps.
I had no friends.
Oh, well, it sucks to be you. I had a fast ride and went, hey, Steve, you go up, you make a left, and go straight. I'm going to throw it right down the I actually just watched Spaceballs earlier.
My sorrow. By the way, talking about kids and playing football, do you realize this is the 30th anniversary of Little Giants?
Oh.
Yeah. I feel old now.
Yeah.
I feel old.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I had to bring it up real quick. Anyway.
Next up, you got the Bengals.
The Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, the Ohio battle. You got Bengals going into the Browns. They're going into Cleveland for the Super Bowl.
Let's put it this way: if Ohio was to be a prize, nobody would want to win.
No. Am I reading this right?
What are you going to give up on this? Is like you got the two biggest ones. You got what are you going to do? Like whoever wins this gets Dayton, Ohio. Like what's the rule? Like,
yes. And then, am I reading this right? Are the Browns favored by 5.5 points in this?
You are definitely, according to what I wrote, reading it right. But I don't trust that. I think that might.
Yeah, I think we should check that.
I will take a look. Why don't you talk about what your thoughts are on the game?
The over-under in this game is 41.5 points. I think the Browns are they've proven themselves not to be the same team of last year, especially the last half. I think as long as you start Deshaun Watson, your team is going to look like they're going to the Super Bowl because he's been playing god-awful. The players around him are not respecting him, and he's giving up on plays. He's made it quite obvious, and he's not hiding it. And
so I picked you, by the way.
Okay, so the Bengals are favored by 5.5.
Bengals are favored by 5.5. Exactly.
Makes a lot more sense.
As I'm hitting more things with my chairs and knocking more stuff down behind me.
But it doesn't matter on my picks because I'm taking the Bengals to win this game. I've been saying it for 6 weeks of football. They start off the season slow. They start off really slow, and they're going to come in and play a division rival, and they're going to play probably some pretty good football against a team that can't put up points, and their defense has been lackluster. And their star player, Nick Chubb, is doing a lot better, but is also not playing. Although, did you see that he's lifting at the high school where he started playing football?
No, I didn't see. Honestly, I've been following much of the Nick Chubb thing.
So he's working out.
A picture of his injury that grosses me out.
Well, he's been working out. He was squatting like 610 pounds at the high school. At the high school that he grew up, that he went to school at. So he's like, I'm not big at personal trainers, and I'm not big at going to these big clubs. I just want to go back where it all started. And
that just tells me one thing: he's saving his money in case this doesn't work out.
Probably, but there's also a video of him squatting like 610 pounds, and a whole bunch of high school kids around him spotting him.
Oh my god!
But
he's literally bench pressing high school kids.
The bar's like
right after lunch.
Right down his
sloppy
back.
Joes and those Elio's pizzas.
Yeah, lady, you're scaring us. Sloppy Joes. I know how you like them.
Extra sloppy.
Yeah. But
this was always the pizza. They gave us the Elio style pizza.
Yeah,
we'd always get excited by it. I don't know why. Like, oh, it's pizza. It was bad pizza. That was Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, we should have higher expectations.
Yeah, or we started doing Domino's, I think, when we were in high school too, which is.
So,
and we're like Beer Street, where I went to school, was right next to, was it Giuseppe's, whatever the pizzeria was right over there. Fantastic pizza.
I'm gonna age myself. So at one point in middle school, they were doing a thing in McDonald's called Hamburger Buddies. And you know, like you go in a pack of hamburgers, buns, and like they're like stuck together to separate them.
Yeah.
So basically, it was two little hamburgers with two buns that are stuck to each other. And they called it Hamburger Buddies, and they actually did that for a little while in middle school because that's when they were popular, like for a year. So as I age myself, people are like Hamburger Buddies. What is this guy talking about? Yeah. It was a thing, guys. Look it up. Hamburger.
I don't know. I think you're lying. Anyway, I'm thinking the Bengals to win this game. That's actually 11-point swing that you just put saying that the Bengals are favored. I'm still going to take the Bengals to win this game, and I'm going to take them in that spread still. And I'm taking the over in this game because the Bengals have proven that they can put up points. The Giants have put them to the least amount of points on here. It is a divisional game. The Bengals don't have the best defense, so I do think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout, but it's going to be a blowout in the shootout, if that makes sense. I think it's going to be like 27 to like 21. There you go. 48 points. Over.
I have some very important news to share. And the news is the fact that it actually wasn't McDonald's. It was Burger King, apparently. Burger King,
jeez. I can take you anywhere.
Buddies. I looked it up. I found it. It's there. For some reason, my computer will not allow me to share the picture of it here. So I'm going to just do this real quick here. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Open. Here we go. We're gonna do it this way. We're going for it. We're going for it because I feel like people are gonna think that I'm crazy, and I am. Don't get me wrong, but Hamburger Buddies was an actual thing. There it is. There it is. Hamburger Buddies. See, they're like two buns put together, basically. That's all they were. It's the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why it became popular for a while. Anyways, we get back to the news here. So I'm sorry. I was looking at my burgers. What was your picks for this game again?
Bengals, and the over.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to make it very simple for you, and I'm going to say I agree with you wholeheartedly, except the under, because I think the Browns will not do enough at that point to get the over. They can't score with crap, and they just lost to Amari Cooper. Like that's not good.
No, but they also put up the Bengals themselves put up 38 points against. Yeah. I know the
Browns have
division
a good
rival.
defense, though.
Do they?
Yes,
Do
the
they?
Browns have a good defense.
Do they?
I said yes multiple times now.
I know, but are they?
Yes, they are. Their offense is what sucks because they have the massage artist there as the quarterback. They're like us. They're like a quarterback away. Well, they were a quarterback away before they started the fire sale and get rid of Amari Cooper for nothing. But yeah, that's where they're at.
The Browns' defense is ranked 15 amongst defenses.
That's still average. That's still good.
That's average.
Average is good.
That's good.
I'm a Giants fan. I have tempered expectations. Lowered expectations. Mad. Anyway, next up, we got the Texans at the Packers. And that should be a fun matchup, guys. This is definitely one I would go nowhere near. I wouldn't put a quarter on it. That's how much. I would not put any kind of shiny quarter onto this game. Point blank. It's a shiny quarter. This is not like my pick of the week where I'm just going like, hello. Hello. But I am sitting here and saying that I would bet the Packers to win this game. It's a 2.5 point favor for the Packers here. And that's not enough to scare me or change my opinion on the game. It's 2.5 points. So I'm going to go Packers. And I'm going to go under on the points because it's 47.5. Just because I think the Texans defense is going to do enough just to keep it somewhat close. And the Texans, they've been kind of hit or miss sometimes as far as how much points they're scoring. They'll score like 20 points one week. They'll score like 30 points the next week. You have no clue what they're going to do. And I think the Packers defense is also good enough to help, stymie them a little bit there. So you got two good defenses. I can't go the over when the over's that high. So I got Packers under.
Oh, I mean, I do agree with you a lot here because I'm taking the Packers to win. I'm also taking the Packers to cover. I mean, the 2.5 points don't scare me either. But I'm taking the over in this game because they do have good defenses, but their offenses are way better, I believe. And, I mean, you're talking about your quarterback play is way better than the defense play you got here. So I'm going to take these defenses to throw the rock around quite a bit. And it's going to be like there you go. It's an Eagle. Good old Eagles.
That's a state quarter.
Oh, is it? All right. I can't see. It's blurry.
Yeah, this is Cumberland, Ireland. I mean, Cumberland Island, not Ireland.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
What
state is Ireland?
Like, very little sleep after a very, very long, stressful day at work here, guys.
Yeah.
I don't hide it. I call it like it is.
So let's go right into the next game.
Next.
So we got the Dolphins going into Indianapolis playing the Colts.
Now, here's the question. Are they playing on land or water? Because that's very important which animal I would pick to win this.
Oh, I mean, it's Indianapolis, so you're talking about the playing on land.
Okay. It tells you my pick.
And the over-under is 43.5 points in this game. Senior Drew, tell us about the trifecta.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're in agreement on this one here. So, yeah, Colts are clearly the better team. Dolphins, who would have thought the Dolphins at this point of the season would have the worst offense in the entire NFL scoring-wise?
Well, when your starting quarterback has scrambled eggs for brains.
You still have the cheetah and the penguin. You still got A-Chain. You still have Mostert. You still have what was the most dynamic offense in all of football last year.
It was a fantastic offense last year, but you also lost key players last year. You lost key players on your offensive line, and you have no decent quarterback play going on right now.
No.
So they're in between who their second and third string is and who is going to start over Tua. Although apparently Tua is going to come back later this year, but I they're taking his time because that poor guy
back to the IR later this year, probably.
Yeah,
to be honest.
He reminds me of Ace Ventura in the first movie when he goes to the psych ward.
Because of the Dolphins?
Because of the Dolphins, and also because he was talking like all crazy wearing what's it, a tutu for Tua.
Snowflake. That's Snowflake.
Yeah. Snowflake.
Anyway, yeah. the Colts are not a dynamic offense by any shape of the imagination, but they can put up some points. With the Dolphins, can't put up any points. So therefore, simply enough for me, Colts to cover the 3-point spread at that point, and under on the points.
Yep, I agree with you wholeheartedly here because
Whoop whoop.
the defense is the Colts defense is the best side of football of any part of the team. And let's face it, the Dolphins don't have a good defense, and their offense is inept right now without their starting quarterback. And it stinks because you got a lot of talent, but without your leader, behind the rock, behind center,
Follow
just can't get
leader, follow the leader. Hey.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure Flacco is going to start for
Wacko Flacco.
Flacco, who's
Don't matter. Either quarterback they got is better.
Yep, 100%. So up next, we got the line. Actually, it's Europe. Sorry, I'm about to go right into it.
Wow.
And I'm just getting excited. It's going right for it.
Jeez. Anyway, Rob so rudely interrupted me.
Yeah.
This is probably another one, and I'm going to put right there with the Texans and Packers as one of the most fun games to potentially watch this week here. It's a divisional matchup. It's two really good teams, which just sounds weird because I still find these two teams being called good weird. But
yeah,
you also got these are the matchups that could very well decide the division. You got the Lions going to Minnesota to face the Vikings.
Oh, don't you know?
Yeah, this is it's going to be an interesting matchup. Again, divisional rival too. On top of that, which are always close. So there's only a 1.5 point spread there favoring the Vikings. They're giving up 1.5. And then you got a over under at 50.5. 50.5, guys. I gotta tell you, and this is not just to make Rob look foolish because he's going after me and I know what he's going to say. This over-under is the part that weirds me out the most in this entire thing. The Vikings have been, weirdly enough, like one of the top defenses in the league right now, guys. The Lions still have some things to work out in defense, but it's not the worst defense in the world. 50 points is a pretty high over-under. That's the biggest shocker for me in that. But I'm going to go with the Vikings to win. As much as I'm torn in this game and I wouldn't put money on it.
No.
Because I don't know what it is. I cannot buy into the Vikings still. I can't. And it's probably Sam Darnold is the reason why. But I can't buy into them yet. But when I'm talking about putting my potentially my money and my reputation on the line like that, I'm going to tell you that they're playing better right now. And therefore, the Vikings should win. The Vikings should cover. And the under, because again, that over-under to me is absolutely ridiculous.
And we are complete opposites on this. So this is going to make or break me
like
and my comeback.
Cousins and perfect strangers.
Yes.
I could be Balky the sheep herder.
But it is a divisional game. They are going to Minnesota, which does scare me. I can't buy into the Vikings quite yet either.
I'm telling you.
We're also talking about the Lions in the divisional game.
Without Aiden Hutchinson, by the way.
Correct.
We got that gruesome leg injury he had last year where he got Joe Theismann, Alex Smith, Nick Gates. It was bad. It was bad. That was like somebody broke a popsicle stick right in front of your eyes, but there was a leg attached.
Yeah. But, yeah. So I'm taking the Lions to win this game. And, yeah, obviously I'm going to take them to cover. And I'm taking the over in this game because, yes, the Vikings defense has been playing very well. But when these guys play each other, it tends to be like one of those like mid-20 games, which is right around that ballpark of that 50 points. And I think it's going to be more of a shootout, probably some OT in this game. And, yeah, I won't bet this game personally, but I'm going to be sure to watch this game when we podcast.
I remember my mid-20s. Those were fun times. Anyway,
let's talk about our game real fast. And if you guys really want to know
game of the week that nobody wants to watch except for Giants fans and Eagles fans.
Exactly. If If you really want to know what we're going to say about it, I want you to tune into our clip that we filmed last night, or
yes.
the audio. But let's talk about the Eagles coming into MetLife. The return of Shaq in MetLife, who's apparently not going to get
Saquon Barkley.
yeah, the Giants are giving up 3 in this game.
We bet on what decibel the boos are at for Saquon.
Right?
And again, I don't even blame him. I just find it funny because he publicly came out and said, I don't think I'm going to get booed. And I'm telling you right now, because he said that,
he's going to get booed even
booed
harder.
So hard, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders if he's really just messing with the fans when he says that.
It could be.
Like, I wouldn't put it. This is the same guy who they published the video of his daughter saying, "Oh, we're going to the Eagles. Does this mean we can win now?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's your daughter. You allowed the audio come out. Like, you have to get the parent. They can't just release it without your approval.
Yeah.
He's trolling us.
100%. The over-under is 43 points in this game. And Drew, tell me your bad news. Tell me how
you go
feel.
first. I did it last.
Oh, fine. Yes, dear. I'm going to take the Giants to win this game because
I'm not going to take your turn like some people do to me.
Well, actually, since I announced it, you were supposed to go, but that's fine. You gave it up. But I'm going to take the Giants to win this game with the news of Malik Neighbors coming back. Gives us some hope. I do think that the Eagles are still not quite right. Granted, they're coming off a bye. They got their receivers back. They're going to run the ball on us, but I think it's going to be a closer game, and I don't think we're going to get skunked. So I think the Giants have a potential to win this game. Obviously, I think they're going to cover because they're going to win, and I'm going to take it in the under because I think the Giants' defense.
Take it in the under? What?
Ooh, it's saucy over there.
That's what you just said.
I'm going to take the under. Jerk. Tell me how you're going to take it in the under.
I'm not taking it in the under. I'm going to take the under in this game, though, like you. But I'm very similar to you, except the fact that I do think the Eagles are going to win. Again, I think the fact that this team can run, they do run, and the Giants have trouble stopping the run. It's going to be the big deciding factor here in this game. We'll see if I'm right on that. So, Giants, Eagles, Giants, because I got the Giants covering the spread on this thing. And under. So we're 2 out of 3 together at that point. Let's get to the battle of the R's. The Raiders versus the Rams. And exactly one team says R on top of that. So many R's. Yeah. We got the the Rams are 6.5 point favorites, one of the larger spreads this week. The over-under is 43.5. Now, we talked about the fact the Rams have had a lot of injuries in their wide receiver group there. We talked about the fact that Matt Stafford hasn't had the best offensive line to work with either at that point. The Raiders are basically just a cluster on offense basically right now. So this is what happens when you keep drafting tight ends in the first round. But
who's been playing well this year?
This one has.
Yeah.
It's like a broken clock.
Brock Bowers.
Bound to get one.
Brock Bowers has been playing good football.
Yeah, well, he was a once in a lifetime kind of prospect, they said, basically. I hadn't seen that much hype for a tight end until, Kyle Pitts. Didn't work out very well for Atlanta, but they never had a quarterback either. Yeah. Anyway, I got the Rams to win this because I still think they're the better team. I don't trust them to put enough points up to beat the spread. So I do have the Raiders for the spread part there. And I got the under because, again, you got a bad offense and an injured offense. That makes it difficult to put points on the board. So, Rams, Raiders, under.
I agree with you 100% in this game. The Rams are playing at home. Granted, doesn't mean that much, in the modern NFL for a lot of teams.
The Rams, there's they
have the better quarterback play. They got the better quarterback.
Legit.
Yeah, they got.
I wonder. Sorry, but I got to ask this question. I'm curious your thought on the whole thing. For years and years, the Raiders played in Los Angeles. Do you think that is potential that there's more Raiders fans in LA than there are Rams fans?
There's
definitely a home game actually for the Raiders. I just thought of that. I had to put it out there.
Yeah. Well, there's also Raiders fans like all over the United States.
Oh, yeah,
They're one of those crazy
dressing up as a
teams.
pirate.
Yeah, I was about to say they like dressing up as like silver Darth Vader. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm taking the Rams to win, the Raiders to cover because 6.5 is too rich for my blood. Because,
Yes,
like you said, it's a damaged offense and an inept offense playing each other. And I'm taking the under. So up next, talk about inept offenses. You got the Panthers going into playing the Commanders.
The Panthers have a better offense than either the Raiders or the Rams right now.
I would dispute the Rams, but the
I would
Raiders,
not
100%.
because of the injuries. If they were fully healthy, I would not. I would agree with you.
Well, they put up 19 last week. That's more than the Panthers put up.
I think the Panthers put up like 25. Don't maybe look it up. I will do it.
I think overall through the season, the Rams have more points than the Panthers. So let's go with that there. Anyway,
Panthers had 20 last week, 10 the week before, then 24, 36 points, which is more than the Giants have scored. I'm just saying they're not as bad as an offense as you're thinking. I think. You know what it is? You're still thinking of the Bryce Young Panthers. That's what this is the
Dalton
Andy Dalton Red Ryder BB gun offense.
You'll shoot your eye out. And the Commanders are favored by 8 in this game. And the over-under is the biggest of the week at 51.5 points.
How crazy is that?
Tell me your thoughts.
My thoughts are, I feel like I don't trust Vegas with this one either. This is kind of similar to the issues with the Titans and the Bills, except you're expecting a lot of points. So you're expecting an absolute blowout, and you got a rookie quarterback. It's always a little scary, but I'm still going to go with Commanders. Commanders again. And I'm going to go with the over. I do think this is going to be that kind of high-scoring game. I really do. I think this is going to be like a 24 to like trying to think, maybe like a
35.
Yeah, like that kind of game. Like it's going to be that high. Like this is going to be higher than the ending of a Cheech Chong movie. It's going to happen, I think. This is the one it happens with.
Well, I agree with you for the most part because I'm taking the Commanders to win this game. I'm taking them to blow out the Panthers, but I don't think the Panthers offense are going to put enough points on the board to get over that over. And I'm taking the Commanders and the under.
All righty. Yeah. I'll win again then. Next up,
we shall see.
Chiefs at the 49ers. Oh, yes, the Chiefs at the 49ers, which on paper is a much better matchup until you actually look at the rosters and what's left for the Niners.
Yeah.
Not the same without CMC, that's for sure. But Chiefs the 49ers are actually listed as a 1.5 point favorite because it's the home game for them. Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. And the 47-point over under, I'm going under. Something tells me it's going to be a little more of a defensive battle than people think.
Maybe. But I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover as well. But I took the over in this game because I think that the Chiefs are going to come out early on and the Niners are going to play catch-up football. They're going to have to play quick football, throw the ball down. And you're just going to try to run the ball, slow the clock down, play what the Chiefs have been doing the past couple of years. And they're going to go back and forth across the field. And defense is going to show up. You might have a couple defensive touchdowns here, but I think that's going to make the over in this game. 47 with these two teams that could put up a lot of points. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, that's one bet I wouldn't take the over under this game. I'm pretty confident the Chiefs winning it, but the over under part, no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go near it at all. All right, next up.
All right, up next, Sunday Night Football. Sunday night. You got the Jets going into Steel City playing the Steelers. The Jets are 2-point favorites in this game. And the over-under is 38.5 points. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game. I'm going to take the Jets to win this game. They got a shiny new toy. They're going to bring him out in the sandbox. And it's not like we were talking about before with Amari Cooper going over with Josh Allen. You already had Devontae Adams having a rapport with Aaron Rodgers. So they kind of know how each other's tempos are and how they play. So they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out hot. And I think they're also going to run the crap out of this ball with Bryce Young. And I do think it's going to be a little bit more of a blood. Steelers are supposed to be starting Russell Wilson in this game.
Wilson, yeah,
over Justin Fields, who's been playing a lot better. So, which means their offense, which means the Steelers offense is probably going to be pretty inept. So, Jets are going to win in a pretty much a blowout, and I'm going to say they're going to go with the over.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is the fact that if you want to attack the Steelers' defense, there are corners that are 1 weak spot. You're going to have Devontae Adams in this game, I assume, the newly acquired Devontae Adams back with Aaron Rodgers now in the Jets. And Garrett Wilson being a number 2 receiver.
Which
that's
is crazy.
A difficult duo to beat at that point. But I will say that I think that the Jets are still not good. I don't think Devontae Adams fixes the problems going on in New York. But I think for this 1 week, Rodgers is happy. The Steelers are going through a quarterback change. They're letting things ride. And I think I'm with you at the Jets. But I got the under. I don't think there'll be a ton of points here. I think this is going to be like a 10-17 kind of game at that point there. I think it's going to be that kind of a low-scoring, close game. But I think because of the duo they have a wide receiver, they'll do just enough points-wise to win the game.
All right.
Last up, Monday night. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
Monday night.
So you got the Ravens coming into Tampa, playing the Buccaneers, not to be confused with the Buckaroos. And guys, this is a much better matchup at this point than I think you probably expected going into the season. The Ravens have been kind of a mixed results and not really full at going to their regular potential. The Buccaneers have been playing, I think, better than most people expected. So you got a pretty close matchup here. I'm going to say I'm hedging my bets here a little bit. I think the Ravens will squeak out a victory. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers in just 3.5 points to say they lose by just a field goal. And the 49.5 points, I'm going to go the under. This is 2 decent defenses. And I say that because the Ravens are still trying to figure their defense out. So they lost McDonald there to the Seahawks head coaching job. But there's still talent on that defense. And the Buccaneers definitely have talent on their defense. So I'm going to go Ravens, Bucks, under.
All right. What the buck? Because I'm taking the Ravens to win. I think they're going to cover that spread as well. And I took the over because both these defenses are decent, but both these offenses are playing really good football. They both can put up a lot of points. I mean, I don't think the Bucs are going to put up 51 points against the Ravens, but no. I do think they're going to put up enough, and they're going to go back and forth, and it's going to be more of a shootout. So I'm taking Ravens in the over.
All righty, guys. That's the last of it. So let us know in the comments what you think. Who's going to win? Where are we crazy? Who do you think is going to win this week? And, of course, it's me. And we'll be back again, of course, on the Monday night episode. We'll give you guys our wrap-up for the week there. Now, as we're recording this, there's about a little less than 3 minutes left in the third quarter on the Broncos and Saints game, the Thursday night game. Broncos are absolutely trashing the Saints 26-3 so far, which if that kind of thing holds stamp, at that point, you and I both going to get trifectas. We both had Broncos, and under in this, which is looking like what might happen here as long as the Broncos stop scoring. Otherwise, who knows? We might be under over this. So, all right, guys, we'll be back again for you guys Sunday game day. Oh, yes, game day. I will be here for everybody for the play-by-play on the game as well. Rob and I will do, of course, a regular post game as soon as the game is over as well. So if you haven't already, guys, and you really want to know everything going on with the Giants news and Giants rumors and everything going on with the New York Giants franchise overall, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the share, tell a friend. We suck at marketing. We count on y'all. That's for sure. So, let's see. Your VA claims denied, says Ravens over Bucks 26-31. That's the over. And Deb said Pugh didn't do much for us last year, didn't he? Did what he could. He's just done. So, guys, we'll be back again for you again Sunday. Like I said, we'll be on all afternoon long there, basically talking Giants football from game time 1:00 there all the way to the end of the post game coverage there. So we'll probably good for 4 hours to get to the goofball action here. And then, of course, we'll be back again Monday with our post, a wrap up for the week, and then restarting the whole thing all over again there for you guys next week. So if you want to, like I said, continue to follow, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ring the bell if you're on YouTube. That's a big one there, guys. We're always, like I said, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite.
Who's LinkedIn? Oh, God.
Oh, yes, my LinkedIn profile.
Woo.
And, of course, we're always available the next morning about 5:00 in the morning there for our audio version of the podcast as well, which will show up on all the big podcast platforms there, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. So we appreciate you guys for listening. And as always, Giant fans,
Go G-Man!
G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please,